We're live,
Yeah.
gentlemen.
Hey, Matt Delicious.
What up, what up, what up?
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Yo, real quick, everybody, we have a fourth square for the first time. Matt Delicious' first official guest, the legend, our big brother, Charlie Tuna. What up, man?
Hello,
I
hello.
appreciate that.
Hello,
Hi,
hello.
everybody.
That was, I could have done a whole like sway thing. I think I could have gone way more
For
epic,
real.
but
No,
I'm not good at that. I don't know. I can't
We
even.
don't have a ton of time.
Yeah.
But, you know,
true.
it is quite the moment
We're running
to have
40-minute halves
somebody
here.
who founded not one but two legendary bands, you know, Jurassic 5 and Motley, you know, somebody who has been killing it in hip hop for, you know, over since like the early 90s. At this point, we're like, how many decades is that? I always do it wrong because I'm like, it's a decade.
It's
No,
30
actually,
decades.
30 years, bro.
Yeah, exactly. 90s
Yeah,
always
man,
feels like a
man.
decade to me. But man also appears on the new single, What's Your
Yeah.
Planet from FOMO.
That's
Oh, yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
New Friends of
And
Monsters.
we're
That's
so honored to have him. So we're honored to have you here, man. Welcome to
Man,
Mad
thank y'all,
Delicious.
man.
Of course.
First of all, I want to thank y'all for letting me be on that song. You know what I mean? For real. And second, I want to thank y'all for naming y'all shit Friends of the Verbal Herman Monster. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Hell
very
yeah! You definitely
So
inspired the name, man. We not only you started off of a fucking man with our first project, but that was kind of the idea. We're like, if we're gonna get any features on this shit, it's got to be top notch shit or nothing, bro.
I
So
appreciate that.
the name is for a reason.
Exactly
Thanks for thinking about me for being top notch. I thank you for that. Thank you.
Oh yeah, and everybody
That speaks for itself, dude.
Absolutely. And yeah, you should. And so Halsey, Tuna, now you're meeting virtually.
Nice to officially meet you on the interwebs, brother. Nice to meet you.
Respect, man.
Yeah. And as you've
Nice to meet
seen,
you.
Halsey's been keeping us, you know, up to date and honest on our news, world events.
That's not true,
you
bro.
know,
I'm in
and
a deep
everything
hole
that's
right
going on.
now, bro.
Well, just to catch everybody up, last week we had a conspiracy episode and we posted that on the Instagram, and Charlie was like, why the fuck was I not on this episode? And we're like, yo, conspiracy theories episode 2 with Charlie Tuna, and he blessed us with the okay. So here we are. I think we're actually gonna stick to topic and talk about some conspiracies, right? We'll see. We might not, but I think we'll be talking about some conspiracies with Charlie Tuna.
Oh yeah.
That's what's up.
I hear you have alien stories. That's what
Wow. Well, I mean, I've seen some things. Put it that way. I've seen some things that I can't explain. Whether they was alien or not remains to be seen.
even ghost shit. Yo, I'm a sucker for it. So like, I'm one of those people where it'd be like, until I see it personally, I like can't get the science in my head. But if it happens to me, I'm all I'm going to talk about for the rest of my life.
Right.
Like I don't care what anyone says. Like I'm diving in.
Did you see, Halsey? Did you see the government released tapes of
the little UFO things?
Well, of UFOs, of actual, you know, unidentified
but is that just
flying
like really good drones? Because that's like what they're saying. They're just like top of the line, like Nike drones. You know what I mean?
I mean, look, I don't know. What I've read is that the speed with which they change direction and that they're going at is like something that we certainly can't fathom in terms of our technology.
Yeah.
Well,
so it's either super hidden technology or, you know.
That's like the gravity stuff.
Yeah.
Is that thing that when the pilots were chasing after it and they had it on the radar?
Exactly.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy. I was like, oh shit.
I forget where I read on it, but somebody said that basically it's like a gravity well, where it's like what we see is like the linear line of gravity, how we take it in our brains, but it's like a ripple effect for them, so they'll go through it, and that's why it appears like it's ding, 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 you know, like it jumps around.
Wow.
Well, this sounds kind of like the Lazar stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like this weird, like repulsive, like picture Iron Man, but instead of like that light going outwards, it like circles him, and then he can like just kind of gravity buzz, because what we see as gravity is like not what they're doing. They're like bending gravity and making it so that what we see we can't actually like.
Is it the Flash?
Yeah.
Is it the Flash that does that, or which super? I think it's the Flash. I'm sure multiple do, but like one of like this sort of
throw some
not
respect
as
from the Flash's name.
No, I love the Flash, but not as intuitive. It's like not the intuitive superpower that they have. That's why I think it's the Flash, who we know of as being super fast.
Yeah,
but he could also remove
he can
himself
vibrate
from
through walls and stuff and all that.
Yeah, but
like
it's part of like
powers.
being able to like remove himself from the gravity of the Earth, essentially.
Yeah,
and like it appear to be warping, but really it's just the Earth is moving so fast, you know, under.
Yeah.
Well, dude. So after last week, I deep dove into like the out there shit. Like Atlantis is aliens, and they set up continental checkpoints on like each Mayans, Egyptians, and then they sunk their place and took off. So that's where I went after last week.
This is a whole thing. Wait, we need to go into this.
Wait, come on, break it down.
Okay. So like Sumerians, Sumerians, they're like the first ones to have like languages and stuff, and no one really knows why the fuck. Yeah, okay, but no one really knows like where they went, what happened to them. But there's little pinpoints on the earth with pyramids. You got Aztecs, you got Mayans, you got Egyptians, you got Stonehenge, you got shit that's like just weird and no one can explain. So I found this article. I forget who wrote it, but the dude's like an actual Harvard doctor, and this is just like his side piece thing, like his little like hobby. But basically, he thinks that Atlanteans are an alien, or not an alien, but a higher life form that came and set up throughout time like these replicant societies on each place that would honor them, so that they basically had control of everything and could go wherever. And I mean, if you look at like, so there's
like different planets.
No, here like continents, like Mayans, Egyptians. Like there's this running theme of these temples and these gods in the sky. Like, and even Greek gods, it's like these guys came down from Mount Olympus and they were like just bigger, stronger, taller. And so basically what it comes down to is that like every so often they come back, and it's like now because they're not on planet, they're not worshipped, we don't really worship them. They gave us the technology to kind of run the show ourselves, and that's what like the missing link jump from apes is. They were like, we're gonna dust you off some of this here smart and just be out and see what you fucking idiots do.
Whoa.
Yeah,
that make a lot of sense, man.
I mean, it does, and I'm like, dude, yeah, I'm like, damn,
cool ass running theory for sure.
Well, the thing that what were you? My bad, Cal. I was just gonna say.
Sorry, I was still like trying to like put the puzzle together a little bit, but just so like the Mayans.
Well, basically, so they were centered in Atlantis. Okay. Atlantis was like the higher tier, the Mount Olympus, and what Atlantis was, let's say it was a spacecraft that just sat in the like on top of an island. And then once they were like, okay, we've done enough here. We've given them, we're tired of being worshipped. We're bored of these fucking, monkey people. They sunk their island and just took the fuck off. But when they left, it was like, we're going to give these people gifts. And that's why you have like the gift of fire from Prometheus and all that shit. And like every actual, like every culture, Egyptian, Mayan, Aztec, whatever the fuck it may be, Greek, Roman, they all have these gods that bestow knowledge and wisdom in these things, like Zeus's lightning bolt.
Well, here's a question. Here's what I heard on, I think it was a Rogan episode, but there's a lot of talk about how like the evolution was also the fact that a group of like Homo sapien, or no, we're Homo sapien, Homo erect, I don't even know what the fuck. One of these like predecessors to the human being, they found mushrooms basically. They found like psilocybin, mushrooms that make you trip, and that's apparently some people like the theory is that they attribute the evolution, the gain in knowledge, and this opening like of the mind to, and in this evolution in the like this missing link, this big gap is just the fact that they ate mushrooms. They ate mushrooms and
activating parts of their brain and shit.
Either that, or what I was gonna say is maybe they just thought they were saying. So that could have been part of it too. They could have been like, "Yo, all these motherfuckers popped out down from the fucking mountains, and they gave us all this shit, and they gave us fire." When really they were just probably tripping balls and just like talking to themselves.
Yeah, dude, that shit's real though. The ayahuasca tribes, dude. Everybody who trips in there, they all see the same shit. It's like this weird, like echo vibration of like I'm going sideways through universes, but everyone sees the same shit. If you go to the part of the rainforest and do it legit, everybody sees the same shit. And it's like, has it happened there so many times that there's like an imprint when you get to that place, or is it like, is that just what it's? I know what you're saying. It's just like,
is it like the planet Earth is like how me and you talking right now, entity in
Yeah,
itself,
like
right?
connected. Yeah, like Mother
Press,
Gaia
press,
shit.
right, pressure points. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like all of the little spots on the earth that are like special. Maybe that's one of the spots.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean?
Dude, the we know
Jesus.
more about like space and like the deep rainforest shit.
That's what they say in the ocean too. They
Yeah.
say like we don't know anything about way more than half of what's covering the earth, which is water. We don't even know what's
Right.
going on under there. We have no idea. And if you look at Google Maps, there's some scary ass shit going on under the water.
The layman though, you know what I'm saying? They got that. I believe honestly that they've echo fucking mapped this whole planet.
Yeah.
I mean every crack, crevice, and cavern, and have found all of the myths that we have created as man throughout civilization. They found any and every proof that needs to be found. I honestly think that, you know what I'm saying, there's enough money and enough research and enough technology right now.
100%.
More than
exactly. Yeah, what don't they tell us? Exactly.
Dude, well, up until recently, the giant squid was a myth. They found that motherfucker,
myth.
And then like showed up on the shore in Japan, like, "Hey, what's up? I exist." And then like
how big is that thing?
Like 50 feet, George. This ain't
it's really
like, bro.
Huge.
This thing is like if it walked into my house, like that's it. Like I just
die of shock.
I bend the knee and I die. Like I'm cool with it. It's a 50-foot
right,
creature.
a sci-fi monster. Yeah, that's exactly what this shit look like. You know what I mean?
You can't do nothing about it.
Take my tip stars. Leave me alone. Take my weed.
Dude, but also like there's these extinct things that are coming back that were supposed to be like just completely wiped off in this prehistoric animal, but they've been here the whole time just hiding. How the fuck are these things hiding? Like, where are they coming from? Is there a hollow earth somewhere where they're all just kicking it, living these prehistoric lives?
It's the Mandela effect, man. It's the Mandela effect.
Or was they frozen in ice?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
The same shit, dude.
Or the
all this shit is melting right now.
I just pulled up right before we all got on here. Antarctica just got blasted with the best infrared lasers and shit, and they found that the land underneath it is like there's like dense metals that make no fucking like densest shit on the planet.
Oh,
like
this
the
is
feedback,
too much, man.
dude. Yeah, if it's on my other computer, but like I'll text the group later. Look, the picture of it is just all red, and it's all like the red is like the hardest metal. This is like purple. It's like fucking dark black. It's it's gnarly looking.
Getting into the
they
stuff.
Found vibranium.
Yeah, right.
Talking about stuff that we don't know about that's on Earth. Just talking about Earth, you know, all the things that we don't know about. That's kind of what brought the idea in my head when you started talking there. When you said you should have been on the episode, Tuna. Obviously, immediately what came to mind was the talk we had in Las Vegas. Do you remember?
Come on, refresh me, because
we were lit. We were on a fat thing. That, by the way, shout out to that joint of yours. That shit looks like a femur or some shit. Look at that thing.
Yeah.
It's got a pulse.
Yeah, no, that's a floofer.
Yeah, we were talking. The floofs. Shout out to the floof that you got there. We were talking about. You were taking pictures. You had your camera with you. We went off to the roof of the parking garage, and you started you're like, Spitz, check this shit out. And you wanted to show me, because we started talking about it first, but you were talking about how you had gone to Asia somewhere with a homie that had schooled you to this whole thing about how to capture these energies or these entities. So I don't know, that story I thought was what would really blow minds. That shit fucked me up, and I was like, hell yeah, Tuna's got to talk about that.
All right, so I went to Hong Kong with my band, the House of Bob. I got a live band called the House of Bob, 3-piece. We went on this like Pacific Rim tour, you know, through like Australia. We did New Zealand, we did Bali, we went up to Taipei, we did Hong Kong. Right, so when we were in Hong Kong, the promoter, his name was Jake. He was an American though, but he lives in Hong Kong, and he lives in a houseboat in the Bay that his father owns. His father's really rich from being one of the world's top researchers on, you know, like UFOs. Pops and wrote like 15 books and all this crazy shit. Like I didn't know this shit. I'm just chilling with this guy, right? So he took me to buy the camera that I'm shooting with that George was talking about.
Yeah, now I remember this.
I got a 7D Canon, and he took me to this electronic swap meet to buy the camera. We got the camera. That night we were kicking it, and he was like, "Yo, You know, let me show you some stuff. Let me see
This
your
is
camera.
crazy.
He showed me how to do an open shutter shot. He set it up on a tripod and aimed it up in the sky. It was like massive stars, and I was tripping. We were in the harbor. I was like, damn, as lit up as Hong Kong is right here, you can see mad stars. He's like, yeah, let me show you something. So he opens up the shutter, you know, puts it on a timer and takes a shot. And the shot, you know, lasts for like, I don't know, half a minute, maybe a little bit more than that.
The exposure?
Yeah, the exposure's just like the shutter's open, then it closes, right?
This is
And
crazy.
then he shows me the picture, and it's 3 times as many stars in this picture. And he's like, okay, now, my father showed me how to look through these things, and you see certain shit. You know, he was like, you know, some of these things are plasma energy where you can see through them. You can see shapes, shit like that. And I'm just like, yo, wait, what? Like, you know, like, what the fuck is he talking about? Right? So he showed me like it's the regular stars plus pixelation. He's like, you got to count in pixelation. He's like, but then you see shit like this. And he points at one of these things, and I'm just like, yeah, that don't look like everything else. It's like a weird ass, like, you know, shine to it and a weird color, like a greenish purple to it. And I was like, that's ill. The next day, you know, so I'm picking his brain about the whole shit after that. I'm like, yo, so what your pops do? Blah, blah, blah. He's like, yeah, my dad has like a
oh no.
the spot taking, you know what happened here. Oh, blah, you know, this is, you know, he's that kind of, right?
This
like I said, he got 15 books. I got one of his books. Oh, I just cleaned it out. But anyway, 15 books deep by Pops got paper. He's blowing my mind with some of the stuff his Pops is saying. And I'm like, tell me more about this plasma shit. We go to this fireworks thing that's happening on the river the next day. Like, I don't know, 8 o'clock at night, you know, so it's just turning dark. In the midst of the buildings, and the river runs through the downtown area. So we got buildings and shit. And we on this little ferry boat, and we get off, and we on this little point, this little concrete kind of point looking at the river. And just looking up, and he's like, yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, you'll see shit like that around stuff like this, too. And I was like, come on, man, this is like bright lit. It's like people everywhere. Easily hundreds of people out there looking at these fireworks. Like right there. And when I'm looking, you see this thing. It's a cloud, but it's clear.
Oh wait, you saw it with your eyes?
With my eyes.
Oh wait, I don't remember this part. I don't even remember this part.
Yeah, and it looked like it's probably about as big as a Volkswagen Bug.
Oh shit.
About that big. But it's in this tall ass building. And it's just moving slow. Then it kind of curves around the building. Shit. You know. And it just kind of floats amongst these buildings, and you don't see it no more. But I'm just like, the hell is that? He was like, this is what I'm talking about. He was like, these things exist. He's like, people can say what they want. He was like, and people can say that they ain't alien, because they might not be. He was like, but they exist. This is what he was talking about. I was like,
Jesus.
Me standing there looking at this shit, I'm like, oh shit. Another time, I don't know if I told you about this, but another time I was in Amsterdam with my friend Jerome Excel, hell of an MC, right? Dutch MC. And this is when Amsterdam won the second place in the World Cup. That was 10 years ago, maybe?
Yeah,
oh, wow.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
14,
like
16, something like that?
No shit.
Something like that. I'm on a tour with Breakestra, and we had off days. So I was like, fuck it, I'm going to Amsterdam. So I went to Amsterdam and when he kicked it with my dude. He came to pick me up from the airport, and I'm not realizing that the World Cup is cracking, and that Amsterdam is damn near about to win second place.
I had no idea.
So I'm on the plane. They broadcasting the shit on the plane, and I'm just like, damn, this is dope. Right? I'm tripping. Like, okay. I get off the plane, we get in the airport. It's like mad people in the airport, like it's like they had a sports event. You walk outside of the place, they got a jumbotron set up, looking at the game. I'm like, and stadium seats set up outside of the airport. I'm like, this is ill. My dude come pick me up. He like, man, we got to get into the city, or we ain't gonna be able to get into the city if we win. I'm like, all right, cool. So we get in the car, rushing our ass to the city. You know, get in. But we get in just as they're winning, right? Oh, we passing by bars and every bar. We like, oh shit,
freaking the fuck out,
tripping. So we park the car. I take my luggage upstairs. settle into the room. That takes no more than 45 minutes. And every time I'm in Amsterdam, I'm like, yo, let's go walk.
Let's get to the coffee shop right now.
So we get outside, me and him starting to walk. He's like, yo, man, they won, man. Because he got the radio playing and shit.
Wow.
Like, they won, man. He was like, it's about to be crazy out there. Now, I just got one of my first digital cameras, one of my first handhelds, little small handhelds, like square one. And it had a hella zoom on that shit, right? So we walking out into Lighter's Plane is where it's called, a little square. And I see, honestly, a tsunami sea wave of people coming at me on the concrete, coming at us. Oh shit, because they were so hot. Everybody got on orange and shit because the team is called Oranje, like, and that literally means orange. So it's like everybody got on orange and shit, and just big orange wave just come pick us up, and we just go into the square. And everybody's like, ah!
Everyone's just crazy lit because they World Cup.
We can't even
I feel like this is the Mandela
is.
effect. When did the Amsterdam teams? When did these stoners win the second place in the World Cup? I don't even remember this.
Yeah, it was around the time when K9 had that song out called "Wave the Flag," and it was they had it was a Coca-Cola song back in the day.
Huh.
Coca-Cola picked it up. But anyway, so we get in the square, we partying with everybody. I'm taking pictures and shit and turn on video, and this and the third. And I just happened to zoom up in the sky like this.
What?
And I saw it, and I was like, the fuck? And I clicked the picture. And I just start clicking. Click. I don't know where those pictures are. Oh, my boy Jerome has one of them. Right?
Oh, shit.
Boom, 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 boom. We caught it. This fucking thing, man, it was like,
oh shit.
What was it? Like a ship or like one of these entities things?
It was, you know how when you're standing and you're looking up, you see a plane fly past?
Yeah.
Right? So it was about as big as that. I don't know if that's huge.
Well, distance-wise, that thing's probably...
I don't know how close it was.
Yeah.
And it just stops.
Dog, it looked like like somebody pressed pause on a TV.
Oh, shit.
That's creepy, dude.
Dude, I can't... that freaks me out.
And it just stayed there for
and
a
I
second.
don't remember that. You didn't tell me this story, Tuna.
I didn't tell you this one.
If you did, I was past my limit at that point. But what I do remember is that night you said, check it out. You're telling me this shit, and then you take a long exposure shot in Vegas in some random ass. You literally like as if you just planned it, you know. And then you tell me to look at me. You go to the screen and you start zooming all the way the fuck in with the screen that's on the camera. And fucking lo and behold, there's these little fucking lights everywhere. Some of them are circles, some of them are streaks in Vegas, dude. That they're not like you look in the direction that he took the picture, and there's nothing there. There's no buildings there. There's no, and then it's like, well, you start asking yourself all these questions like, is it the reflection of anything? But reflection off what? The lens itself? And if so, why so perfectly like?
Yeah.
Why are some of the shapes so specific and
too many intricate things for it to just be like a dust smudge? Yeah.
It kind of makes me think a lot of times we think these things like UFOs or aliens are like these visual sort of effects or visual kind of mirages, but it kind of comes in, it goes well with your stoned ape theory, you know. It's like, you know, when you get high or do mushrooms or acid, you have like visual hallucinations, they call them. But it makes me wonder a little bit, just what you're saying at Tuna, and like this whole idea, it's like how much is that visual stimulation, like maybe it is related to what we're seeing through things more than we're seeing things that aren't there.
Parallel dimensions are seeping through.
That's what I was gonna say, man. It might, you know, because like when the whole UFO thing invokes the idea of aliens, right? And I ain't necessarily saying, because I ain't never been to space, so I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what's up there. I don't know what's, you know, I barely know what's on this fucking planet, to tell you the truth. So we ask you, what's your planet? Right?
Yeah, exactly.
But that being said, I'm just saying, like there's a scene in Indiana Jones movie, the third one, the Crystal Skull, I think it is.
Yo, I fuck with that movie, and everybody
I do too, man.
hates it.
There's certain little shit in there where you just like, word.
I love it. I loved it so much.
But you know, when the crazy doctor was like, you know, all possessed or whatever, and he started talking, he was talking clear. He was talking about how things ain't existed in space, but they exist in the space between spaces. I'm like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. What's there?
So that's where I think that it's more of, instead of one like out there in space in different galaxy, I think this is probably like what I personally think is multi-dimensional beings. Like, so what I love about shrooms and tripping is you get somewhere, you dip your toe in something that's like beyond human cognitive recognition, and
It's
you're like, yo,
bananas.
why the fuck is this lamp trying to sleep with me right now? I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, legit. And then
No,
for
all
most
sorts
of
of
shit,
thoughts that are very like.
so it's like the dipping and waving of these like things that we see and can't process. It's like maybe they're just jumping sideways through, like, remember Loop or Jumper, the teleport movie? Like, maybe they're just jumping sideways through these dimensions, and like there's like particle reflections of like like a little Banff cloud, like Nightcrawler. You know, he leaves some.
Yo, you was in my head, fam. I was gonna say, you read comics, man, kind of like Nightcrawler.
I'll go on for 90 minutes straight about Nightcrawler, bro. That's my.
You know, what this reminds me of is the one time I was able to do a Temazcal ceremony, which is like a sweat lodge, and part of like thinking around that is to create a space where you don't have any of it. It's like completely pitch black when you go into the tent. There's no visual like stimulation except for these glowing rocks, and so again, it's that same like confusion between, am I hallucinating things or am I seeing things? Are these things really in front of me, or are they manifestations of my own thoughts? And any way you cut it, it's revealing, but it's definitely, they call the smoke that comes off of the fire in the middle of the tent the smoke mirror or something like that, basically. And they say that because as you're in the ceremony, you see these sparks and stuff, and you kind of start to see a full sky basically above you. It's like you feel it. You don't feel as claustrophobic. You feel like the whole
like
world
the tent
above
is
you.
gone. Wow.
And the smoke starts. The smoke itself is like you're supposed to see your ancestors essentially in the smoke. It's kind of like part of the ceremony.
When did you do this, Tal?
This was like a couple years ago with my boss, actually. Yeah.
Oh no shit! I didn't.
Phoenix. Yeah.
Did I know this, or am I just forgetting?
I'm sure I told you this because it's pretty funny, the whole story.
This is interesting.
People are like, what if it's a science we don't understand? Like, what if we're all right? There's like a little dash of condiment from here, a little bit of there, but it's like we just don't know the science yet.
Well, the other thing about those ceremonies are like worldwide. Almost every indigenous culture has some form of that. Like
here we are again with everyone having the same shit.
Yeah, man. I mean, the world is only so big. You know what I mean? It's like everybody had to connect in some sort of fashion. If magic in some form of fashion exists, then it exists in the same way, but just being accessed differently through different cultures. It is what it is, but it's just accessed differently. If aliens are, you know what I'm saying, the people have talked. Have you guys ever heard of that thing about how they say that when I don't know if it was Neil Armstrong, was one of the dudes, one of the astronauts who went to when they got to the moon, they saw fireflies. Have you ever heard that?
Oh shit, that's fucking.
I don't know this. No.
Fireflies.
Now watch this. I think it was Buzz. It was one of them dudes. I can't remember which one it was. But anyway, he said when he got to the moon, he saw fireflies. Could not understand what that was, right? And he kept hearing this song, like this. He couldn't tell if it was words or if it was, but he just kept hearing this melody, like, and he's like tripping on it. He's looking at these fireflies, like whatever. Now, fast forward, they get their ass back to the Earth. They crash land close to Australia, and the water's over there, right?
That's wild already. You left and you're back. You came the fuck back.
Right. Gets back, hit the water, blah, blah. A lot of the people who went to retrieve him, a few of those dudes were Aboriginals. And when he got back to base, a whole tribe of Aboriginals were there, and they were like demanding to talk to the guy. And they didn't want to let them talk to him or whatever. And finally they started saying to him, to the people, okay, when the Aboriginal dudes came, the people who were, you know, detaining them from seeing them, the astronauts, were convinced by what the Aboriginals were saying. They was like, oh, we're trying to tell him what we saw. We saw everything that happened to him on the moon. We saw everything.
Oh,
and was explaining it to him, and the people who were stopping them was like, how the fuck is these dudes with diapers and paint on their face knowing this shit? So they finally let the dudes talk to the astronauts.
What?
And they talked, This is some shit that I heard, and I was just tripping, like, whoa, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
They talk, and the Aboriginals were telling the dude, yo, we saw everything you saw. We saw you reach for this. We saw you take X amount of steps this way. We saw those mountain peaks that you saw. We saw, and the astronaut was like, how? He's like, hey, look, the head Aboriginal asked, did you see fireflies? And he's like, yeah.
Oh shit.
He said, that was us.
Oh shit. Oh my god, bro! If that shit happened to me, I'm telling you right
That's
now, I would
badass,
actually
dude.
shit my fucking pants, dude.
That is
From
so
what-
sick.
Fuck.
That
Kyle,
was
from what you
us.
were saying, Kyle, like on some, like they were all in a circle doing the Aboriginal meditation of some sort, from some sort of thing that they took in their culture, accessing that magic in whatever way that they do. Bam, they traveled, and they was on the moon. They say they've been doing this for centuries.
All
And
right,
I'm
so
like,
this is,
yo,
I
heavy
love
story,
this.
right?
I
That's a heavy
love
story.
No, for real.
bro, that's sick. But
Yeah.
actually, we got 1 minute left. I gotta call everyone back. This is the shitty fucking Zoom.
Yeah, we're just
life
gonna
we lived.
continue a little bit further
Yeah.
after this. If you're
We'll
down with
pick
that,
up.
Tuna.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, call
Yes,
you
sir.
guys right back.
Tuna's sideways now.
Hold on. Yes, sir.
Boom.
There
Yo,
you go.
but so all right, so let's pick up right where we left off. So what if
Chali.
the shit where they saw the fireflies and stuff and they come back? What if that ritual, that the breathing technique or whatever those Aborigines dudes did is like something that was left behind? Because I was gonna bring up earlier, there's a breathing dude, I forget his name, but he can defy the laws of everything.
Huh.
And I fucking forget his name. He was like, he stayed in a cave for 30 years and just focused on his breathing and legitimately emerged, and they tried to freeze him in water that should have killed him in 2 minutes. They soaked his clothes in it, and he just sat there like Buddhist style breathing and dried his clothes in under 30 minutes. Like dried them, like took it in and was like, he just like did some crazy shit. That, like, dude, but all he did was sit in a dark cave for 30 fucking years.
You've heard of alchemists, right? I know this is like going far. Well, that's that's dope. The idea that you can like manipulate anything,
But where does that come from though? Where does shit like that come from? Is it something left behind by shit we like aliens or whatever?
I hear a lot of people say, like, long story short, from within, that it's something that you like, that we have within us. It's like the bit of source we have. Yeah. We're from this source. We have that within us. We always have the truth in us, and we always have the answer in us. That's the idea, like, behind a lot of, like, I don't know. I feel like this is a whole other wormhole. Like,
dude, it's all linked. It's all got to be linked.
But yeah,
well, there's something to be said.
Isn't that kind of like the idea?
Yeah, like controlling your mental, essentially, and how powerful that is, but actually how physically that can manifest. That's what sort of trips us out. It's like, oh, the brain doesn't like make things happen. That's like Professor X shit, Yeah. But actually the brain does make like all this stuff that we're doing, like even us connecting here, we have created it like through like our mind power and then human willpower within
the
that.
Same like the people that I know that in the Amazon, like, or in wherever in Peru, I think it's mainly the Amazon, but where they do the ayahuasca ceremonies, and they ask the indigenous people there how they know the recipe, because ayahuasca, which is what the ceremony is basically you take this concoction, which is an herb and a root. It's a root from one plant and like the leaves of another. And when you combine them together, the way that one makes the other one, it like one allows the other to take to give the effect that it needs to yourself, for your body to take it in a certain way. If you don't have that other element in there, that other root, whether it's the root or the leaves, if one of them isn't in there, reaction. It won't let you don't get the effect at all that the other plant is supposed to give you. So, and then they ask the indigenous people or the shamans, like the leaders, like the guys that are in charge of these ceremonies, how they know how to do this, who taught them. And they say that the forest does, like the trees did, the earth did. That's what. Yeah, exactly. It's nuts. It's like,
dude, I think that shit's true though.
Yeah, it manifests itself in religion and all kind of other things. Like, you know what I'm saying? I grew up, you know what I'm saying, partially, you know, from Christian teachings and partially from Islamic teachings. And like but from an instance in Islam, it said that there is a cure for everything, any and every sickness that you have, but it's in the earth. Now think about that. So then you think about like, okay, so the wicked man that chase after all of the money and things, it's destroying. You ain't taking care of what the cure. You ain't taking care of the earth. You got like, you know,
Oh, dude, the
global
tree of life is
warming
the
and all
shit
of
like
those
that.
stuff. Yeah, it's the same. I mean, I'm thinking, you know what I'm saying, just interpretations are basically the same thing. It's like
they like reverse
like
engineer it.
Yeah, we have everything we need. It's all about the knowledge to use it, and that knowledge is being withheld. I had a line that said, "He who hides knowledge controls this grand scheme. In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king."
It's king. Yeah.
I remember this.
Fuck. Well, dude, so like the
So
tree of
I'm
life
saying, like,
stuff in the rainforest is like, I believe that tree is out there. Like that one old fucking
yeah,
tree. You ever seen the movie The Fountain?
yeah,
Bro, so like the way they depict that shit where it's like a moss, right? It's like a mold almost that grows off this thing. And it's like the one thing people are starting to see is like mold and funguses are like truly like you could put mold and fungus in gasoline and like break it down. Like on a fucking molecular level, it'll just like make it something completely drinkable. Like true purification of like very carcinogenic type substances, it'll fix it. And like that is all under the earth, no matter where you go. Even in the deserts,
right,
there's moss. Like it's everywhere. And it's like, so if it is like Avatar where people are plugging in and shit like that, even if it's like on a spiritual thing, it's like you're connecting in off of basically a fungus. Psilocybin's a fungus. There's also other hallucinogens that are basically fungus.
There's
Like you're all,
something about them psilocybins, I tell
yeah,
you. I'm
dude.
telling. There's something
Well,
very.
fungi in general, like the largest living organisms on Earth by
Yeah.
far, right?
Which
'Cause
is
they just
trippy.
are all connected. Yeah.
Obviously.
Maybe
And
they
they
like speak
they
to each other
communicate.
too. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
they
what's
communicate.
crazy. Yeah.
Maybe those are the
Um,
aliens.
yeah, man. Speaking
yeah,
of
no,
speaking to each other, man, I had a. This is some other shit. What do y'all think about this? All right, like, okay, we as human beings, right? You know, not necessarily. You know, this ain't no alien shit. I'm kind of changing the subject. I apologize.
Yeah.
I hope I fucking.
Oh, you're good.
Okay, so I'm asking this question because of my cat. Okay, let me just put it out there right there. Okay, first and foremost, we as human beings can communicate to each other or decipher each other's languages if we don't know them in order to learn how to communicate with each other, right? Just as the species of, you know, Homo sapien, you know, 2 legs, 5 fingers and toes, that kind of shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I've watched interspecies communication,
Ooh.
and it fucks with me because I'm like, okay, so why have we, if we ever had that with animals, like why did we lose it? You know,
I have an answer
or
for
why?
that. I think it's
Break it down, man.
technology,
Help me
bro.
out.
Honestly, because we were talking about it the other week. I forget, it was actually the beginning of last week. Whereas, like, the more energy that we use up here, we lose like physical connection to stuff. Like that's why monkeys are so strong. We're in between, and then aliens have big heads and look weakly because they use so much energy with their brain. So I totally
That shit
believe
stuff.
that like cavemen and like the law and order of the jungle and like that being part of the earth and the tier list of like predator and prey. Once you get above that, you lose like the Doctor Doolittle abilities to really like connect on that shit. I totally believe that because the most spiritual and like wise people I've ever met are dudes that like hitchhike and don't know where they're gonna sleep and like eat and they live out on the fucking like they literally live off the earth. Like not like just some like vegan farm, but like people who go out there and like put themselves back into
They live
predator
off the
prey.
journey too.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly. So it's like now we all look at our phones. Like if we go sat next to a tree and just thought with ourselves for 45 minutes opposed to tweeting about your feet or some shit, you know what I mean? Like we'd probably be way better off.
I'm horrible
right.
with this thing. I'm constantly looking at it. It's fucking horrible.
Well, dude, well now it's just like the world is ending in your pocket and you get to watch it. It's fucked up.
And you get to watch it, man.
Yeah.
That's a dope
shit.
rhyme.
Like I
Yeah,
said,
bars right there.
I know, right? I
You
was
have
asking, like I said, I was asking because my cat, man, my cat, since I've had him since he's about that big, and now he's a big old fat fool. He'll walk around. Oh, there you go, right there. He's down at the bar. You can't really see him. I'll show y'all. But anyway, I would let him out in the backyard, and since he's a little kitten until now, he's 17, 18 years old.
Oh shit.
This big fat
Jeez.
old guy.
That's a
He's
wise
guy.
old man is what that is.
Yeah.
Exactly, he's a wise old man. He's sitting looking at me right now, like that's right, damn it.
That's right.
Anyway, ever since I've let him in the backyard, man, he's always had these two friends that would come down, and I thought he was hunting, but it don't seem like he's hunting. He would just talk to him. These two birds, little sparrows, man, and they come down, they sit on the fence just far enough from him.
Yeah.
So if he wanted to do something, then, but they're there, and they're chirping. One of them is making this beep sound that just keeps going beep, beep, beep. And the other one be chirping.
That's a government
and my cat,
drone, bro.
it's crazy. And my cat, he crutches down, and he just kind of meows in this weird like tone, like that. I thought he was crouching down to pounce, but he
He's
gets
just
comfortable,
chilling.
and they do this for a while. It tripped me out at first because I thought I was tripping.
Yeah.
So what I started to do is started taping it. I can show you guys some video of this shit. It's
This
a trip.
is epic.
Every time he comes out in the backyard, they come. So he left one time where he was gone for like 2 days. Then he showed back up. So I was scared because I was like, damn, I didn't want nothing to happen to him. So I kept him in the house. I stopped letting him outside. About a year or so, he stayed in the house. Finally, I let him outside. And here come these two birds again.
Shut
They're
the
bigger.
fuck up. A whole year later?
Yeah, they're bigger, right?
Oh fuck.
And they got a couple of people with them. I'm like, oh, y'all got a family now, and they chilling with my cat. He see him, and so now I started letting him come back out again because he's older now, and they keep coming around, and I'm like, okay, y'all can communicate, y'all.
They're homies, yo.
Yeah.
They're like,
Their
yeah, so
homies
what's
are
been
he's
happening,
just
bro?
getting
Like,
teased to fucking death, bro. They're just shooting his ass.
That could
right,
be.
one of the
Yeah.
two. Right, one of the
That'd
two.
be like,
One of the two.
look at old
Dude's like, I left
cat,
for 2 days
fat
and you
cat,
still put me out
ass
here, bro.
cat there.
Dude. So my uncle had a dog that stayed with this horse that he raised, and like he raised them both from like puppy, and I don't know what's a baby horse
Pony.
called. Pony, yeah.
Oh.
So basically, they were inseparable. It's like inseparable. It's like a fucking Budweiser commercial. You know, it was like that. The horse died, and then
Aw.
3 days later, the dog died. And like,
Oh,
what is that? What is that
Wow.
exactly? Is that like
well, yeah, that's like
y'all made a suicide
definitely
pact or some
connections
shit?
like that. I believe in connections like that. My grandparents, my grandfather died and my grandmother died like not even a year later, not even like a few months. And all she did was talk about him when he died.
Oh God, that's
and say
heartbreaking.
dates and how long she had been with him. You could tell she was like,
Just missed him
Missing
so
him.
much.
God bless her, man. Fuck, it was
Yeah.
intense.
Bless him,
But
buddy.
That's rough. Yeah, fuck, dude.
yeah, that's I
energy.
think that those connections. Yeah, I don't think there's. Yeah, those are real. That's like
It's
on another
100%.
level of like.
Well, no, you meet people, right? Like for instance, when I met Cal, like this is not as romantic as an example, but there's the people that you just harmonize with right away, like no
Right.
matter what.
Yeah.
And then there's people where it's like I never want to talk to that fucking guy again.
Like George, you know.
Yeah, like, fucking George, get him out of here. Go make me some espresso, you fuck. But no, like Cal was one of those people. So I met Cal's brother through playing video games, and I was like, this guy is such a fucking weirdo. I gotta meet him in real life. So we hooked up, and we fucking met Cal, and I'm like, Cal's a motherfucker I'm gonna be friends with. Like I just knew right off the first beer. Then I met George and all these guys, and that's basically how this whole thing started. I was like, what,
Yeah.
2 years ago?
But that's funny. I mean, about talking about communication, that's the fact that you and my brother connected and knew each other
Right.
really well, like for a while.
Bro, I went
like,
to war with your
a couple
brother for a
years.
year and a half straight, bro. Might be
Yeah,
virtual war, but
only
we were fucking
online.
out there, dude.
That's
And
hilarious.
so I was there the first time y'all met in person, but Luke like talked about Halsey, this,
Yeah,
that,
dude,
and like,
it's so
like you guys
weird.
were old bros. And
Bro, we've been
and
through a
they
lot together, bro.
This
and
is
when you
hilarious.
met,
Kill
it was
your
like you
brother.
were old. I felt like I was like seeing you two like old like friends from like years and
It's
years and
fucking
years.
weird.
You know, when you guys met in person for the first time. It was my first time meeting you
It's a
too.
hard thing
It's
to
very cool.
really explain how
That's funny.
intimate friendships are formed when you have to literally like virtually protect each other, and all your brother was good at in that video game was getting us all killed, and I had no patience for it, so I'd be like, Pope, you're fucking cut, you're off the team forever, dude.
Pope.
Go play
love-
fucking Roblox, like fuck you, dude. And then like we just kept
This is-
playing, and he got better, and then like we started winning, and it was just like we grew, you know. It's like the fucking Jordan Pippen shit, where he's just like, or not Jordan Pippen. You know, have you seen The Last fucking Dance yet?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so you know,
so
the
you're
way
Jordan
the way
in this situation.
no, I'm like the third. I'm like Rodman on the team, but I'm like the one who's like, yo, you gotta fucking like stop it. And he would always kill us with his own shit. He'd throw a grenade, a door would bounce it back, and he'd blow up our whole fucking team.
Shout out to Luke, yo.
We
Yeah,
used
I
to
wrote
have
some
Luke.
bars.
Yeah,
I wrote
shout
a
out
little
to
bit
Luke.
of raps on the new. We're writing some new shit, low key.
Oh yeah.
I wrote about Luke
That's
on one of the
hilarious.
verses.
Shout out to Luke in Korea, South Korea.
Yeah, man.
He's
He's living the best. Pope Hilarious the
Gotta beam
second.
him in. Yeah.
That's
Man,
right.
That's his gamer
That's
handle.
his gamer tag. Pope Hilarious the second.
The whole game culture is a bug out to me, man, because I'm so old and I never was into video.
Oh damn.
And I'm a
dude.
painter. I love painting. I love
Shit.
drawing. I love all that shit. But I never I play. Okay, let me tell you the extent of my video game. Asteroids.
Oh fuck.
Space Invader.
That's
No,
it.
let's take it back. Fuck it. Fuck it.
That was
Wait.
pretty historic, bro.
Let me start that over. Sorry.
Rewind.
Pong.
Pong, yeah. My dad
Right,
still has
Pong.
the original Pong somewhere.
I love
There you
Pong.
go.
Yep.
Pong. Then Asteroid. Then Space Invader. Then I like Defender. And then Pac-Man.
Oh shit.
And then Miss
man.
Pac-Man. Right? And then I played
Pac-Man-
Pac-Man Jr., but that was whack. I ain't
Miss
like
Pac-Man's
Pac-Man.
hard.
Miss Pac-Man I love, right? Then after that, I played Centipede. I like Centipede. After
Was the
Centipede,
shit.
right. They had, the variations of Centipede.
Yeah,
That's it, huh? No
Millipede
joystick,
and all that.
no off 2D once it gets to like Nintendo. You don't even.
Here we go. Centipede to Dragon Slayer.
Oh, I know
Right.
Dragon. Yeah.
Slayer.
That's
Remember
like
that?
Game Boy Color shit, bro.
It was a rap
Dragon
after that.
Slayer. Which one's
For me, it
that?
was a
So
rap.
I came up playing fighting games, and like, I don't think people understand, like, you can lose actual friendships. Like, I have lifelong friends. Yo, no joke. Like, I'm not kidding. I used to kick the shit out of this kid, Greg, every time. Dude, he talked so much shit, and I'd, like, let him win. And then I just stopped caring, and I just started just turning the knife so quick. Like, he couldn't escape getting his ass whooped. And we haven't spoken in probably about 12 years.
Oh no.
That's
And
funny.
we grew up together, but it's like, that
No,
shit is
there were some
real.
epic fights in my circle of friends. There were some physical altercations all the time, and controllers being thrown across
Dude,
the room.
smashing the power button in Rage.
Yeah, it's a little too much, man. A little too much.
No, but so
I
that
definitely
continues.
I played, but I watched a lot. I have 3 brothers, and so I was always kind of like chilling. I never got too frustrated. My oldest brother would be like slam the game off, physical like
Yeah.
Zach.
punishment for beating him. Yeah, it's always
Yeah,
super
yeah. Well,
competitive.
dude, that's
and
like,
Luke, the
it's-
thing funny about Luke, we always just sit around like he would play and we would just sort of like it would be like Mystery Science Theater. I was just making fun of how bad he was at all the games he played, like Assassin's
He hasn't
Creed,
gotten any
anything.
better.
And it's great. It's a great pastime.
Everyone
Very
just
fun.
like hang out and watch Luke play games and fail, and they just make
like
fun
do
of
them
him.
the
It's-
opposite of what
Dude,
you're supposed to do.
he's got such a good like gaming voice though. It's different now that you can talk and like in real time and like
That's so funny, man. And you meet
tactically
these
do
2 guys
shit.
in real life, Tuna, and you would never ever think that they would have been friends without this thing over the
PUBG,
internet. Like
bro.
you would never even think. It's the weirdest thing. It's just like
Bro, I was
man,
at Thanksgiving with y'all families,
yeah.
dude.
That's
Like,
right. You were.
This is like video. This is like fucking Galaga to like garlic bread. You know what I mean? Like we're family.
you're the homie. This is special though. This
There you
is,
go.
Galaga
Yeah.
and garlic bread.
And
Yeah,
now to
straight
mad
up.
delicious. No, but I mean, it
Well,
makes you
Tuna-
think about where we go from here. I mean, it's like you look into the future And we're talking about forms of communication that we maybe have lost from like history from so long ago, and maybe not that long ago. And we're now living with like new pieces of communication. If we go forward like 1,000 years or whatever, Lord willing, like, you know, we're able to exist that long. How are they going to see, like, how are they going to use these type of connections? What new ones they're going to create? We talked about this a little bit last year about events like the printing press, and like the internet is like our printing press, and how that changes everything forever. Like there are going to be things that they're like going to be like, no, like they're going to act like it's some conspiracy or some like mystical thing that we're using all the time.
Everything
right
is
like,
already
exactly.
It's already so questioned. Everything is so unbelievable, because it's like, well, how many people, who's saying this? And now everything's a political thing too. Like just believing a thing is just, Halsey's like, what the, we switched it up, right?
Oh, it's all good. Yo, my cat was in here screaming at me, and I didn't even see him come in. So I'm
That's
like,
so
whatever.
funny.
He's like, what the hell?
Yeah, I was like, wait, I just let you out. What the fuck? He's screaming at me for food.
I was just, it's interesting because they're saying, you know, like local newspapers are on the out, they're like on the way out, and that's maybe our only source of like reliable news that we might have been able to lean on. I don't know. I'm not too.
If you've been like tuned in, it is like McClatchy, a huge newspaper company, is going to get bought out. And this is like one of the printers of like Miami Herald for one, like San Diego, whatever their flagship papers. Like a lot of flagship papers are going to be controlled by like one media conglomerate. They did it with local TV for music people. Like this has been happening for a long time. If you were tuned in to like radio and what they did to radio, now people are tuning, like really paying attention. But when local radio, when Clear Channel was allowed to come in and just like like put it on look on like 95 or 96.5
99 jams actually
99 jams, sorry, like we
shout
said,
out to Recognize.
I'll be sure.
Again, we're always shouting out the homie.
What's up, y'all? Now what's it gonna be? Now you're on line 3 with your homie LB. That was
it was like the evolution of that.
But anyway, local stuff like that didn't exist. It was completely smashed, and that's happening to our news media now. People are like, oh shit, this is happening. But that's going to create this hegemon, like only one thing. That's all we're ever fed. And we're living in it. And it's the only way we get any of our media is now through like 3 giant companies, TV,
I was going to
radio.
say, I smell Jizz Lane. I smell Jizz Lane coming around the corner.
Too. I just learned today it goes for food, that music distribution. They changed what food means to the American person after World War II. They actually started making it. So the reason we have such problems with gluten and like pasta, I think we touched on this briefly.
Oh, wait, we've talked about this, right?
Yeah, is because like the way they like engineer food now is for cheapest but most produced. It's like the grade E meat from Taco Bell, you know what I mean? But it's that's the normal. So even the grade E shit that we're getting fed as, you know, Wagyu beef or whatever is still fucking dog shit because it's just mass produced.
They wanted us to, they start like around that time, they kind of got us to start eating a lot more carbs and like this whole idea of like the Atkins diet and all these things being like.
But so that shit, that's what I'm saying. It goes with
the wrong thing to do. Like is like, that's why the idea of like keto and things like this is horrible when in actuality, these things could be used like wisely and like, there's other like what we've been fed as being nutrition and like what's like the food pyramid and all these things like, and then what the companies want us to go to for those things. Those are like high in like
the food pyramid.
Carbs and it's
y'all remember that dog shit pyramid of cheese and milk and fucking like one piece of asparagus. Like there's an actual tiered list of what the like.
Yeah, that was
fuck, dude.
It was absolutely wrong. Like
it's so wrong.
It was like such a formative part of my educational experience, I remember. But
so to tie that back into like the media thing, it's all the same thing. It's just this controlled, mass-produced, unhealthy thing. Whereas like the truth of it all is like grow your own fucking food, make your own decisions, stop listening to the media because it's fucking full of corrupt people, like everyone. Donald Trump just stopped funding the CDC.
I was about to get it. I was like, are we going to bring this up? Because that shit
we gotta revolt, man. Like,
the numbers are now like the whole I guess the policy is the hospitals now have to report these numbers instead of to the CDC directly to Trump.
Oh my God.
Doesn't it
Dude.
sound really fucking? How does anybody see this as legit or like
it's
not
gonna end like Animal Farm,
corrupt?
dude.
Like
it's gonna end
this
like
is
Animal
scary,
Farm.
yo.
Yeah.
You know,
So
they said
now
in
what?
1933. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off.
no,
Just
no, no,
like-
no, no, no. I was just repeating
I was
myself.
saying, I seen this thing in 1933. One of the Rothschilds, I don't know which one of them fuckers said, and this is in 33. Right? He said, if you give me control of the banks and of the media, then I care not who makes the law.
Oh God. Oh, it goes so far back. Oh, it's all corrupt. Dude, there's no
And
quarters now, too.
We in
It's real.
2020 now.
Yeah.
About 100. We're
So
coming
what
up
you were
on that
saying-
100-year anniversary, bro.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like conglomerates collecting up, buying up shit.
Yep.
Clear Channel, and I knew, just being a traveling and touring musician, I knew when the Clear Channel and Golden Voice came through, I was like, this is the beginning of the end. These
Oh yeah.
are monopolizing everything. When is it, what was the name of that company? Saturn? Is it Saturn or is it Science? One of them was doing hip hop concerts.
Oh, Scion, yeah.
Mhm.
It's
They were doing
the
it for free.
Cars. Yeah. Parable
was
was
like-
doing
I was
some of that stuff. Cal, remember?
With the hamsters.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, with the hamsters.
Like, here we go.
The
They
box.
devaluing what we doing, devaluing it by making it for free, and then getting the highest quality cast to come through, paying them a nice check. So it's beneficial to them, but it creates a situation where the consumer ain't impressed as easily anymore. You know what I'm saying? Hey man, I got to see my favorite dude for free. Motherfucker, I got to pay what? $50 to come see you? Nah, dog, I'm good. It gets funny, man. It gets funny. That was the beginning of the end. When I thought, I was like,
there's so many just wrong.
Which led way to now, like,
so wrong, dude.
Companies like Spotify and these guys, Apple, they own the money that comes in for music. Like,
yeah, the music, they're not selling the music. Like the people who are subscribers, the product for them, they'll give the music away for free because they don't give a shit. They don't care what it is as long as people are clicking on their website and they'll get the ads and stuff. And they're supposed to, they're like the biggest distributor of music, period.
Isn't that wild?
Like it's all engineered right now, though.
Except for maybe a Chinese company, but between the two of them, they really don't care. Yeah, they care about their algorithm that'll get more clicks. And their like tastemakers, their playlists or whatever are all geared towards how do we get more people to subscribe so that they can be fed more ads. And they really don't. They can care less about what the music is, what people are listening to.
And a lot of people are using it to bend the numbers their direction and be able to buy the numbers that they need to get their hits. And if you're fucking with labels, they put a certain amount of money into everything that's gonna get like numbers, whether it's bot hits or like bot hits.
Can't you buy streams now too? Can't you just like?
That's what. Yeah.
Well, they're like literally in like litigation with each other, Spotify and like Sony and all these huge like labels. But really what they're arguing over is like, how can we keep more of the money? Like that giant, like whatever Warner's doing, whatever Sony's doing, and whatever Spotify's doing, they're on opposite sides, but they're really on the same side. They actually all have ownership interests in each other too. If you look at like I sent George one of these, like how much they all own like certain percentage of each other as hedging their bets. So it's really they're just arguing over the same money and who gets to keep more of it. There's no artist involved in any of that, in any of those like negotiations or what's happening there.
So Coca-Cola owned Pepsi for a little bit and created their own competition. And then sold it off, and still Shadow owns a part of it. So it's like,
what?
If you can control your own competition,
I didn't know this.
Yeah, dude, the greatest divide is when Coke sus pocketed everybody on the planet, and they're like, this is old, man. This goes back to when cocaine was still in it.
So Pepsi is owned by Coke.
No. It was, but now the company that like there's companies behind Coca-Cola and Disney. There's like literally people you don't even know their names. You'll never know their names, but they make decisions that affect the highest companies in the world. Those people have control of both sides of the coin, right? So if you create your own competition, it's your game. You own both of it, no matter what. Like it doesn't matter which one does better because they're both competing 51% versus 49.
Now replace Pepsi and Coke with
Yeah,
Democrat and
dude,
Republican.
yeah. There's there's a reoccurring theme now that everyone's starting to notice where it's like no matter what the fuck we're talking about, it's corrupt as shit. All the way to
Give
like
me,
all of
y'all
it.
gonna just say that again, man. Give me control of the banks and the media, and I
Yep,
care
dude.
not who makes the law. You know
It's
what
so
I'm saying? That's the
fucking
real.
weird.
You
That's
play
some
on both
shit,
sides of
man.
the fence. It's like Prince and Morris Day. It's like I'm your biggest rival, but I created you.
Yeah.
You know, to be my biggest rival. You know what I'm saying? That's some
Yeah,
heavy
it's
shit to think
yeah,
about. You know what
dude.
I'm saying? Prince created that persona. I'm gonna create
Yo,
me
did
a
you ever come
anti-villain.
across Prince in your musical travels?
In my musical travels, no. But in my high school days, okay, I lived in Silver Lake when I first moved to California, right? Touchdown, Chick Corea Studio was down the street from my grandmother's house.
What?
I
So
don't know
rad.
if it's still there, but
Yo.
it's right down the street. Chick Corea, you know, so we would have to, you didn't have to, but we used to, it used to be this little, like, dare I say, it was like a kind of a transvestite kind of stroll or whatever for prostitutes or whatever. And they used to drag race down the street too and all that stuff. It was crazy heavy activity up and down this block. And they cleaned it up by putting stop signs and what do you call those speed bumps and stuff like that, so people had to stop.
So they couldn't fucking
and
race anymore.
yeah, and they couldn't be racing no more, and then the police could, like, you know, come in and blah blah blah. Anyway, we used to go just walk through there. This and the 30 to sell weed over there. So we used to try to get to a tree or whatever sometimes, and you have to walk past Chick Corea Studio. One day I was walking past Chick Studio, and I see a limo. I see a few people get out. You know, we in Hollywood now, and I'm from Chicago, so I used to always be like tripping, like, damn, I don't know who this is. Let me see who this is.
Sick.
So I'm right across the street, just looking directly across the street, like I easily would say about 35 feet. You know what I mean? Like looking like that, like damn, right?
Oh shit.
Two big bodyguards get out, come around the side, open up the door, and a little dude get out. I was like, who's that little dude? And he walked out, he walked out. I was like, damn, that's Prince. Yeah. No,
Is he
you know,
really
Korea
that small though?
Studio.
How
Yeah, he's
tall is
little,
Prince?
man.
I can imagine
Honestly,
that.
if you took them
Yeah.
shoes off, because he had on
Oh,
heels,
he's
if you took the shoes
4'1", huh?
off, he looked like he about 4'11",
Oh
four,
shit.
5 feet top. You know what I mean?
Short guy.
He's short,
Wow.
though. He's a little
Bro,
dude.
that's a
Apparently he could ball though.
compact
Apparently he
man.
could ball.
Yeah, he could ball.
Yeah.
According to Chappelle.
Yeah, and other people
A
too.
lot of
Like
people.
said,
A lot of
Dude,
people.
That's real, right?
That
Oh,
Charlie,
shit.
that
Yeah.
Charlie Murphy
It's-
story is literally that shit belongs in the Smithsonian Institute.
Absolutely,
Like
man.
that's
Rest in
one of the
peace.
greatest
R.I.P.,
stories
man.
of all
That
time.
guy is
Man, for sure.
funny as fuck.
so classic.
Eddie Murphy's
Legend.
apparently
Man.
coming back to do stand up. I heard that. the
Really?
other day. Yeah. 32-year
I
break.
just
I'll
hope
watch
it ain't bad, man, or it ain't, because you
Yeah.
know stand-up thing
Oh,
got
dude.
crazy, man.
He was so good when he was young. He's got 32 years of shit of Hollywood, bro.
He's
probably
good.
got
He's
stories.
He's
But
good.
he didn't have no competition. He was
That's true.
an
Yeah.
innovator. He created a lane for all these new dudes we got right now. So it's like they just took what he did and stepped it up each time. Boom, 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 boom,
Well-
boom. Now we like whoever's on top now, who like Kevin Hart or somebody like that. It's
Kevin
all
Hart,
due
yeah.
to
Philly
somebody
boy.
like Eddie. You know what I mean? So
Oh yeah.
I gotta
I don't know. I just hope it's good.
a conspiracy to end the conspiracy episode. Here's a good one.
Dale.
Eddie Murphy took this how many years? How many years break?
32.
32 years.
It's
And he
like been a
and he
long
engineered-
time. Like 88, I think was
Eddie-
the last time.
Eddie Murphy, in order to kill off some of his best competition, basically helped engineer the Me Too movement, and then now he's coming in after. This is
This
just
shit-
what I heard. No,
He's
I'm
gonna
joking. I'm fucking
demolish.
around.
He's gonna demolish
There's
the
no
Me
way.
Too movement. Yeah, he's
No,
creating.
he
There's
made
no
it.
way
He helped
Eddie Murphy-
engineer it.
I could
I'm
probably.
sorry.
He
There's
helped
no way Eddie Murphy
guarantee
doesn't
that
get
didn't
Me
happen.
Too. Yeah.
Yeah.
If that's the case.
Oh shit.
Oh, George. All right, well,
Come
But,
we're
you know,
at
this stuff, man.
yeah, fucking George Spitz, bro.
Hey, I got jokes. I could do this stand-up shit. I
Oh
got
my
it.
God.
yeah.
Who comes
Yeah.
up with this, man? But wouldn't it be ill if that was true?
He
To
just
something
made
like
it.
that.
Clear the
Like,
way.
you know
Get
what
out
I'm
of
saying?
my
Like
way.
the beef between him
And
and
Dude, I'm
what's
surprised
his
he
name?
hasn't
Bill
played the
Cosby?
girl that's
There
me
you go,
tooing his own
exactly.
character. You know what I mean?
All the legends are out, and then like the ultimate move is like right before like his stand-up, like the day before, Chappelle gets some crazy shit that he just made up. That Eddie Murphy made it all up, and he just fucks Dave Chappelle's career up in one move. And then his stand-up premieres the next night. It's like,
George, are you all right, dude?
this
right.
urban. Shout out to the Terp Stars.
starting.
Fucking, I'm high as
Hey
shit.
G, let's add to that. Let's go on a little like practice
Okay.
tangent on that. What if we find out that all of the new Dave Chappelle shit from when he got fucked on out, right? What if fuck it? Let's just what if we found out all the Dave Chappelle shit was actually written by Eddie Murphy?
Oh man, a Chappelle ghostwriter?
That'd be crazy.
Fuck, dude.
And that's how he took his break. He's like, "Oh, word, I'm gonna step out of Hollywood." But I know
He just
somebody
like
who
comes
wanna
out
do-
of
Hey,
a Dave
Dave, come
Chappelle suit. He's
Come
just
here,
like,
Dave. Let me holler.
he just
Do it like this. Cool.
That's fucked up, yo.
Just a little
tell
conspiracy
you what,
theory made up
that's
right now by
funny,
yours
man.
truly.
That's good shit.
If
I like
that's
this one.
true,
No, I heard this somewhere.
we're about
I heard
to all
this.
be extra rich.
Yeah.
No, fella,
Oh,
here you
man.
go. I got a conspiracy theory that I'm gonna fuck with you, but I don't know if I should even be giving this dude no light because he get on my goddamn nerves, and I ain't gonna even lie.
Well,
Oh,
we have a minute 30 till we have to restart.
Okay, here we go. This is the theory. You guys, this is the homework. Conspiracy theory homework. There's a theory out there made up by this dude and this girl. I forgot their names, but you'll be able to see it. That Tupac faked his death, right? Everybody say that Tupac faked his death. But Tupac faked his death, but he actually came back and is Akil from Jurassic 5. And his friend Gaddafi faked his death and came back and is actually yours truly.
No,
your man, Chali.
you dude. Oh shit.
If you-
This is real.
If you guys can, just do a little homework on YouTube. You'll see this dumb shit.
This
It
is
the dumbest
amazing.
shit on earth. This
Yo,
dude
everybody's got to.
Yo, we got to look that up. Oh, it froze. No. Oh shit. Oh no.
Thank you for joining us, dude. This
No,
has been fucking rad,
absolutely.
yo. Mad
Mad
delicious.
delicious.
Hey, make sure to check out What's Your Planet featuring the god himself, Charlie Tuna.
Respect.
That's Friends of Monsters. That's Llama Beats and
Yes, sir.
A&T from Miami. Shout out to A&T, the brother. Yo, Sam.
sir.
I love you
It's
all.
a good episode.
Hey,
I
bro.
love you, Charlie.
Nice
Thank
to
you.
meet
Thank you
you.
so much for
Love you
joining
too,
Peace out,
us.
man.
Gaddafi.
Good to
I mean
meet you, brother.
tuna.
Good to meet
What
you,
they
man.
do.
Yes, sir.
Everyone have a good
Respect,
night.
brother.
I'll talk to y'all in a little bit. Peace.